Hello everybody, welcome to our Voices for All podcast. My name is Marcos, I'm from Quilombo, UK, and we're here funded by Kingston Council RBK to bring to you a lot of information on all of the support that is out there to you Kingston residents during the cost of living crisis and during Christmas. So please be with us. We have lots of great guests, lovely guests with us to let you know all of the support out there for you, Kingston resident. And right now, I have here in the office with us the great team from RBK, and we have Kate, Ian, and Robin, which you're going to hear a bit more very soon as well. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. Yes, really nice to have all of you here. And you've been telling me, and we met yesterday, and I think before yesterday, and hearing of all of that that's been done, the first thing I would like to say is thank you as well. I think we share a passion on helping people and supporting people. And it's just great to hear all of the organizations and the people that are out there putting your heart, putting your dedication, sometimes struggling, which I'm sure they will be with funding and how we can further support, but amazing to see so many people helping. And please, we've got your website here, RBK. Tell us a bit more about it, and then we're going to start talking. What, in general, what do you guys do?
So we're a very small, new volunteer-run charity. We galvanise people in the community to help others in the community by turning meaningful, goodwill into meaningful action.
Wow.
So we have lots of people at home who sew for us, knit for us, make things for us, and then we distribute that to people in the community who need it. But we also run other various projects throughout a month.
Amazing. And where are you guys based in Kingston?
We're actually based in Norbiton.
In Norbiton.
Yep, close to the town centre.
Amazing. And it's there in Norbiton that you run all of your services?
That is where the nerve centre is, if you like.
Okay.
We don't have offices at all. We're all run from personal homes.
Yes.
But a lot of our activities are centred around that area.
Yeah.
The Norbiton area, the Kingston Road, Cambridge Road estate, and then also St John's Church. And one of our groups meets at the Alfriston Centre near Surbiton.
Amazing. And from what you were telling me, you meet on Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month?
Yes, the first Tuesday of every month we come to Queen Mary's Hall on the Cambridge estate, where there is a food bank being run by the Cambridge Road Estate Residents Association, Community Association. And while the people are waiting to go into the food bank, we bring services like Mind in Kingston and Samaritans for mental health support. For financial support, we have people distributing fuel vouchers. We have the financial inclusion team from the council. We have super highways there.
We also have people from the NHS who can provide vaccines for flu and for COVID.
Wow.
We have a retired doctor there to have tests, to offer services there for height and weight measurements, and also someone to look after people's feet, a podiatrist.
Did you mention about dental support as well?
That's something that's a little bit separate.
Yeah.
We've recognised a need within the community.
Yeah.
And we've actually linked up with another charity called the Brothers Trust to fund a dental bus coming on a monthly basis. We currently have had 4 visits from this bus, and it's going to return again in the new year for another 6 visits, I believe.
6 visits, So they treat people, anybody, so we do a survey with the people who are waiting to go into the food bank, and we ask them about, if they've got any dental pain, and then we've got a list of about 76 people still waiting to be seen, but we have 6 more sessions, and they can have dental treatment. They can have fillings, extractions, mouth cancer checks.
Wow.
But we can't do dentures or that sort of
Or
thing.
root canal work.
Yes.
So for everybody watching, it's in Kingston.
Yep.
Kingston Town Centre has Cambridge Estate.
Yep.
It does.
If you don't know what Cambridge Estate is in the heart of Kingston. Is not very far from Fairfield.
Yep.
Fairfield
right.
Park, right?
Yes.
A good point of reference.
Mm-hmm.
Can anybody that lives in Kingston turn up to that Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't need a voucher for the food bank and hot meal.
Okay.
And then on
for
the first
us
Tuesday
service-
of the month, we arrive as the well-being outfit. We
Yeah.
set up gazebos outside on the green, and in the summer months, it
Yeah.
looks like a village fete.
Oh, nice.
There's a very good atmosphere created there. In the
Nice.
winter months, it's a little more tricky because we're still an outdoor event predominantly.
But we can get around.
Oh
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Absolutely. We bring, a lot of pre-loved clothes. We bring toiletries. We bring new underwear, and just a whole team of volunteers who can. They're asking a few questions on a survey, mainly to signpost people to
Okay.
any service that we've got there on the day, or ask them if they want a bike, because we put them on a bike list and we try and get grants and give them the bikes. Or alternate months, we have Dr. Bike there from
Yeah.
the Kingston Cycling Network.
So first Tuesday, we promised you watching us that we would let you know all that is available to you now, not just now during Christmas, especially in Christmas and cost of living crisis, everything that it's out there in Kingston done for you. So if I don't know, if anybody watching us, not really sure if they can get support or not, should they still come down or should they try to go via the website? What do you
If
advise
they
them?
came down to see us, have a chat with us, Kate and I are there and a whole series of other volunteers.
Yeah.
And if it's appropriate, if we feel that we can fulfil the need that they have,
Yeah.
we can signpost to them there and then. It's not as if we're sending them off to an office or anyone else. We bring the services to that event,
Wow.
and then we can actually introduce the clients to the agencies or services at that particular
Because
time.
there's a lot of more people helping, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are basically bringing everybody together on that Tuesday, or as many as you can.
As many as we
So,
can help.
Food,
Yep.
food banks. So as you mentioned, we don't need to have a voucher. So if I really need and I go there on Tuesday, Cambridge Estate, first Tuesday of every month, and I can get some support.
Yes, the food bank is every Tuesday. Food bank and hot meal is every Tuesday.
Food bank and hot meal. So you mentioned then advice.
Mhm.
Which type of advice can the Kingston residents get on that Tuesday?
Benefit advice.
Okay.
They can come to us, and if they have a problem, we can say, well, we can't help you with that. However, maybe you could try Kingston Advocacy
Okay.
Group. You could try Christians Against Poverty. We can.
Okay.
Kingston Church's Action on Homeless is literally just down the road. So a lot of their clients come up to the Wellbeing Day. What we will have there and then is advice from the Benefits Office,
Yeah.
advice from superhighways, and healthcare.
So
and the energy vouchers as well.
and the energy
We offer-
vouchers.
Yeah.
So
We
on
offer those.
advice, cost of living crisis. We have a researcher here from our research department showing it's strong. We here didn't know how strong it is right now, and I'm sure that lots of people watching probably know it. So if you're not sure if you can get or not, the best thing is go there, speak to you guys, because as you said, you might not be able yourselves to support them, but you can signpost where they could probably get some
Absolutely,
support.
and people don't know that they're entitled to things. So we had one lady who didn't think she was entitled to help
Yeah.
from the council with benefits or household support. And we said, well, you're just in a queue for food, so why don't you actually just pop up and talk
Yeah.
to the lady
Yeah.
from the council? And she came down and said she thinks she's entitled to another £1,400.
Wow.
So for her, that persuasion to just, I know you don't think you are,
Yeah.
but we know the people, we've got the people here who do know whether you are or not, and they can look it up and they can help you.
Here is a great example. The example that Kate just mentioned, that lady got an extra £1,400 in support, in benefits, and she didn't know, she wasn't there for this, but then she ended up getting it. And how many people are probably not knowing they are entitled to some benefits and some support?
Or they don't really know how uncomfortable their feet are, and you go, well, why don't you go and see Emma? She can have a look, and they come out saying, I'm walking on cotton wool. It's wonderful. You know, it's foot care is something that's quite, people don't go and ask for foot care. So actually having foot care there and saying, would you like to, you know, have your feet looked at? Sometimes it takes persuasion, but it makes a huge difference.
Amazing. So food, advice, foot care. You mentioned there's a doctor as well there?
There is a retired doctor. He can measure your weight, take measurements of your height, and just give general advice and encouragement. Perhaps you want some advice on being able to lose weight or something like that.
Wow.
He would be able to help with that advice. Also, we have someone that comes from Kick It, the no smoking group. If people have an interest in wanting to give up cigarettes, then they can give advice on that.
It's very expensive cigarettes right now, isn't it?
It's very expensive.
That's another big reasons. I used to smoke as well. I stopped, and I know it's really hard, it's really difficult, and I had help. I had help for somebody to get me out of it. I wanted. And I keep thinking, with the price now as well, is even more. Health, absolutely. So amazing. So we have the doctor, have the food, have the advice, fuel. So energy bills. Energy bills are, everybody knows, it's really difficult. So there is somebody there to advise, to see if people are entitled for support.
So they do a short survey to see if they're eligible. It's for people who have a prepayment meter and a top-up card. Those are the only people that can have an energy voucher. And you can only have 3 energy vouchers. So a lot of people have actually already used a couple, and we might say there won't be another one till next year, till the middle of next year. So, you know, do you really need it now? And they'll say, well, I've had no electricity for 3 weeks. So, yes, they want it. But at least we can help with that. And once that is exhausted, we check if they've had the household support fund, all that sort of thing.
So there's other avenues as well. You can advise them. So if you don't know, some people already use the vouchers, but there might be people that don't even know, so they still have 3 vouchers waiting for them.
Yes.
To support them.
Yes.
Plus other avenues that you can signpost people.
Yes.
Amazing. And then you mentioned about superhighways. What do they help with?
Well, that's all part of digital connection. Yeah. So SIM cards and data for your phones or your tablets, whichever you want to use. I heard
they give SIM cards with data.
That's right. Yes.
Wow.
And that's sponsored by Kingston Council, and they come along and they have a range, you sign in with them, and they're able to actually give those free of charge out to the clients that visit us.
SIM card with data available to you. The first Tuesday of every month, you can go there and get support.
So you'd either get a Vodafone SIM, which would have data and voice calls for 6 months, or you have up to 24 months, but it's 24 gig on a 3 SIM, and that would be data only.
And then it's also on mental health support, you mentioned.
We have representatives there from Mind in Kingston, and also from the Samaritans.
Okay.
And they are there every month, and they're willing for people. They have to approach the Samaritans and Mind rather than them being approached. But we have facilities there for discreet conversations, so people can then take time just to explain what's on their mind if they're having some particular difficulties.
And this is what I was going to ask. Is there any myths or any barriers that people may have that they not access mental health support?
I think there are a lot of people that have barriers. The shame of actually admitting that you have a problem is a very big issue to a lot of people, and one can understand that, which is why we try, in particular with those services, we've managed to have another bus, as it happens, a smaller minibus that you're able to discreetly go inside and discuss these issues, because we're aware that people are embarrassed perhaps that they're in a financial situation, or maybe they don't want to be seen if there's more of an emotional problem that they want to talk about, and they don't want others to know about this. So we try and respect that and facilitate that by having this bus where someone can go and discreetly go and discuss this.
And it's important for everybody to understand that one is discreet. It is private. Everybody understands how sensitive that conversation can be. And cost of living crisis, the pressure at the end of the year, costs, everything going up. We've got Christmas, everybody wants to have a time together. So that can bring anxiety, stress, as a consequence, depression. So there are people there that can give support on this. Sometimes we're discussing about mental health. Sometimes we see that people believe that nobody can help them with anxiety. Nobody can help. What are they going to talk to me that's going to help me with my depression? So this is a myth.
And Marcus, I think the thing that's important is the people that appear at our wellbeing days on a monthly basis, they are there in their own offices at any time over the Christmas period and beyond. Every day of the year there's someone that's accessible from the Samaritans and from Mind.
Yeah.
So the listeners to the podcast can, if they feel that need, access these services. It's slightly different, of course, on the Wellbeing Day, where we bring those services, make it that little bit easier, make that connection, that little bit. They can see the person that they're going to talk to, as opposed to an anonymous person, perhaps on a telephone.
So just before we move to the Wellbeing Day, I believe this is on a Tuesday. The Wellbeing Day is on a Tuesday. Yes. What I would like to say to everybody watching as well is, you might be watching this because you want to help, because you know how times are now and you really want to donate. And it doesn't need to be only any money donation, financial donation. There's plenty of other things that all of the organizations will benefit. Your time, your skills, or anything else. For example, I heard the food banks are having a little bit of trouble because there's a lot more people needing the support of the food banks, but less donations out there. And then, so you will see on the screen, I'm sure they're going to put, it might not be here, there will be a QR code for you that wants to make a financial donation. It goes to a local giving page of Quilombo, and the money will be distributed to the organizations we are here today. But there will also be a link, a website for you to click and go into. If you want to donate your time, if you are, let's say, a qualified accountant or somebody who can give some legal advice and you want to help, you will find where to help there as well. Okay, for all of you watching. So you also do on the Wednesday afternoon another meeting.
Yes, every Wednesday afternoon.
Every Wednesday.
During term time.
Okay.
Refugee Action Kingston hold English lessons in St John's Church, and then we come in the afternoon. We bring about 12 sewing machines. We bring a lot of donated fabrics, and refugees who sew with us from about 20 different countries, all different languages, but sewing is a common language, so it overcomes that barrier. And we've found that over the year and a half that we've been doing it, the friendships, the socializations, the difference in the demeanor of the people, and I think it's because we come regularly every week. They can trust us that we will be there. They can use our machines to alter their clothes or to make things. So it's a very successful, great fun. We all have a laugh. We don't speak each other's languages, but we certainly communicate.
So Wednesdays afternoons for refugees.
Yeah.
So if you are a refugee and you're now here in Kingston with us, you are very welcome. Not only very welcome, there are lots of things. There's Refugee Action, which is actually next door to our office here. But then there is RBK doing sewing on Wednesdays afternoon.
Yep.
Where is it again?
St John the Evangelist on Grove Lane in Kingston.
Is it close to Kingston University, St John's?
Yes, very close.
Just behind, isn't
Yeah.
it? So Kingston University, very easy in next to Kingston College, town centre of Kingston, just behind, I believe, there is St John's Church. Wednesdays afternoon, if you're a refugee, coming down. And as Katie was saying, there is one common language, which is the activity. Everybody's having fun, even if it's lots of different cultures, lots of different languages, and everybody together. So it's a great way for you to socialize, to meet people, and I'm sure that they can also learn about any other support that they might need.
Yes, absolutely. There's in the church at the same time. There's a solicitor, there's a welfare person, and the educators. It's great. It's and a lot of laughter.
So we will also put the details here on screen for you about Wednesday if you need and you want to come along. What about somebody who's not a refugee but perhaps wants to volunteer and support yourselves?
Well, we have we meet alternate Mondays at Alfriston in Surbiton, where the volunteers meet and make things for the project. So at the moment, what they've all produced beautifully is our warmer and winter bags. So those are bags essentially made to make people keep themselves warm. So they have a handmade blanket.
I think you brought it.
I have.
Could we show it?
We could.
Oh, wow. Make some space for us to show it.
This is an example of a warmer in winter bag.
Yes.
So the bag itself is actually made by the volunteers, by the sewing group. They usually, or each bag will have...
They get the bag and the content.
They get the bag and the contents. And within the contents, there is a handmade...
is this a blanket?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
A handmade...
And that was made by somebody on the Mondays?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And others in the group who don't. There are a lot of people who can't get out of their house, but they know that we want hats or scarves or bags, so they do it. So you've got someone who's crocheted this one, nice black scarf there.
So
and
a blanket, scarf, a hat.
Hats, that's right. And then to complement those, we actually have bought items. So there are some thermal gloves there.
Nice.
Thermal socks.
Thermal socks.
So we have
a useful
thermal gloves.
A torch if your meter cuts out.
Wow. Socks.
Thermal mug.
Thermal mug, so that you don't... You've got your cup of tea, it keeps warm.
Absolutely.
Some toiletries,
hot
water bottle, some drink sachets, and cup of soup.
The bag just keeps on
It doesn't
giving.
stop. I thought that there's more.
It's a bit like a TARDIS.
Yes.
Amazing.
And then in there's also leaflets. So there's a leaflet from Kingston Church's Action on Homeless. There's a leaflet about where you can get free hot food and hot drink.
Oh, wow.
The mental health Mind in Kingston drop-in cafes. There's a gift in there as well.
There's a gift as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There's a leaflet on managing your money.
Who can get the bag?
Anyone who needs one. We've made 280, 290 of these.
Yes.
We've distributed some through Voices of Hope, through Kingston Church's Action on Homeless, through a Wellbeing Day at the United Reformed Church. Young carers have had quite a lot of them. And you'll get a letter back saying, I can push my mother's wheelchair now that I've got a torch when it's dark. You know, things like that, which it's lovely.
I think it's important for everybody watching too. Sometimes we're showing everything that is done, but we don't really know a bit more of examples of the reality that's out there right now.
Yeah.
So you said somebody said they can push the mum's wheelchair because
now
they have
they've got a torch. They can push the mum's wheelchair in the dark.
Wow.
You know, that's lovely, and that in turn then makes the volunteer who's made these things feel really proud and touched by that, so they're more likely to help again.
Absolutely.
Because we need, in order to have made 280 of these, it's obviously an awful lot of volunteer time.
It's amazing to see the difficult times. There's a lot of people there, great hearts, understanding the times we're going through and contributing, supporting. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing.
I think the other point to make as well, Marcus, is you talk about the volunteers.
Yes.
We have the volunteers that actually help run the group of ladies that make all these. The ladies, of course, themselves volunteer their time and effort to actually produce such wonderful items. We talk about the well-being event. We're always looking for people to help us there as volunteers, just to assist, perhaps giving out the clothes, setting everything up. And then volunteers as well on the Wednesday group, the sewing group for refugees. Yeah. We're trying to get a situation where we've almost got a one-to-one with the helpers to a refugee, so that when they come and they perhaps haven't used a sewing machine or something like that before, if there's someone sitting next to them, even if they don't speak the same language, then to have that ability to be shown how to actually use a sewing machine, if you've never used one before, perhaps. That
reminds me of something. I will say, I'm Brazilian. I live here 20 years, more than 20 years. I'm a migrant here. And I think it's also important to say that everything here, when we are talking, anybody can come down. So you might be from any culture and you want to support and you want to volunteer, and it might be great. You might have somebody that speaks your language, and when you come and volunteer, it's gonna be amazing for you to share, to build that bridge maybe on communication, and to donate to ours. So again, if you're watching and you want to help, you don't know how to help, as I said, there will be a QR code that you can make some donations. There is a website for you to click. There is also RBK's website for you to contact them. You can go here on contact them, say you want to volunteer, and turn up and give a hand. Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month, every Wednesday, or alternated Mondays as well, they can support, correct?
That's
absolutely
right.
Amazing. And I would like to, as we're talking about the well-being, Robin, thank you for coming. Thank you very much for coming down. And I believe you came to share a little bit of your experience with us. And what I really want to thank, because as I was saying, when we are discussing everything that is available to everybody, sometimes it's not everybody, but sometimes it's difficult to understand what people are going through. And you said, I want to come and share it, because we know that will support more people to be inspired by your story, to look for help. There's a lot of help. Kingston Council has a lot of organizations commissioned to help everybody now, not only through Christmas, but through the cost of living crisis. So, Robin, thank you very much. Please, I want to leave you free if you want to tell us a little bit more. So, where do you want to start?
Well, I suppose what really happened, probably 10 years ago, I lost a job, and then I ended up losing my flat because I couldn't afford to carry on with that. So then I had to find a smaller flat, but without a job. So instead of having a mortgage, I had to make sure I didn't have a mortgage. Okay. And then you're kind of living off the money that you have, and then you find you don't have any money suddenly. And prior to buying my flat, the very week I moved in, I was mugged and had my teeth kicked in. Oh my God. So it was like, welcome to your new home.
So you had a mortgage?
I had a mortgage, I had a job, but then I didn't have a job, and then I didn't.
And then you lost your house with the mortgage?
I couldn't do anything about that. Yes. But then that's partly my fault, because I didn't probably engage with people at that point, because I'm sure something could have been done.
If you looked for help earlier.
If I had looked for help a decade ago, then I'm sure something would be different now. And
what was your rationale, if you don't mind me asking? Why at that time you thought, I don't need to look for help?
Well, it's not that I just didn't know quite where to look. And I guess there's also the onus of, well, I know they've sent me a link to a website, or they've sent me something, but what's happening? What's going to happen when I go there? But can they really help me? Mm-hmm. But going further along the line, you do buy a new place, but then you don't have a job, and then you think, oh, I don't have any teeth. They've been taken away from me. So what do I do now? And luckily, a friend needed somewhere to live, so they've moved in to a spare room. So they were keeping me going with their money, and then they lost their health. So suddenly there are two individuals living without, with very little money coming in, basically. And that's when a year ago or so, in fact it was the 30th of November last year, was the first time that I went along. And that was basically for COVID and flu things. And then there was there was also a food bank there. And I thought, well, actually, we don't have any food at the moment. There's very little in the cupboard. So that helped. And that's why, for the past year, it's probably helped, fund, a third of the week for me.
A third of the week?
Yeah, yes. I should.
With the support you can get?
I think it probably, it feeds the cat for one day. It feeds me and another person for a day and a half.
Wow.
Of the week, and that leaves you to think, right, now I can concentrate on the other 5 days.
You have some headspace.
It gives you that room.
And when you went to look for help, what did you find? The people?
What did I find? The people. Well, I'm not sure. I think I may not have seen Kate and Ian on the first day, but they were certainly there probably on the second time that I went, because that would have been one of the first Tuesdays of the month.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been, I guess. So at that point, I did start to engage by thinking, actually, this is really helpful. It was a bit embarrassing turning up the first time. In fact, the first time I didn't go to the food bank because I thought I needed something to get in. So
there's a lot of misconceptions that people think. I think this is what you're sharing, isn't it? When you were thinking, no, I don't need help, was part of the thought process how you would be treated when you'd go for help, or being embarrassed to go for help?
Well, it's just making that initial step out the door, but then there isn't a bigger push than looking in the cupboard and looking at the cat to see that you do actually need to go out and do something about that.
And then you meet people that welcome you really well, don't judge you, and offer support.
And also knowing that it had always been there, but I didn't really need it. But then I did need it, and it came along. I came along to it at the right time.
Thank you, and I hope this demonstrates to anybody watching that there are help there. That those misconceptions, the assumption that sometimes people will have, that they don't exist. The people out there trying to help are out there trying to help. So a big misconception for how am I going to be treated, or it might be embarrassing. The people who are there helping are aware of it, and they want to make you feel welcome. They want to make you feel that you've got a place that you're going to get support. So hopefully, thank you so much for sharing. Hopefully we can demonstrate to people that get help. Go after. If you don't know if you can get or not, go there. You might be able, as you were mentioning, Kate, about the lady that got an extra £1,400 in support. And just your story now demonstrates that perhaps people are going to find. There's so much being offered. So
absolutely. You were on our sort of triage dental list just to see if we could get some data to encourage funding for a dentist. And I remember you walking past my house, and I had just heard that we'd got funding for a dentist, and I said, you're going to be seen. And that was lovely to be able to tell you that actually we've been successful with the grant and we can help you. Mm-hmm. We can only help a bit, but we can certainly start that road.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Ian. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Marcus.
Yes.
Very welcome. Thank you, RB Cares. RB Cares. So, rbcares.org. rbcares.org. You can find a lot of information on the website of what they do in the past projects, testimonials, how you can get involved. Do get in touch.
Follow us on social media. We're
social
more
media as well.
Yes,
okay.
Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter.
RB Cares, supporting the community.
Amazing. Thank you very much for coming. Yeah, and I'm going to be with you soon. Thank you. Amazing. We have been talking to a few organizations, and I have the pleasure to have here in the office Lubina from the Migrant Advocacy Services. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Very welcome. We also have here Phil and Gail from Christians Against Poverty. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And we have Kevin from Kingston Council here as well with us. Thank you very much, not only for coming, but to support us, to enable us to be able to be here running those podcasts as well.
Yeah, fantastic program to support.
Thank you very much. So, as we said in the video, there are lots of things available. If you live in Kingston, even if you're not sure if you're eligible, this is the place, this is the podcast for you to understand everything that's out there for you. We just had another organization here with examples like somebody who wasn't really knowing if their lady could or could not was eligible for benefits. And once they convinced her to have a chat with the services they provide, then that lady found out that she could get, and she got, an extra £1,400 of benefits in support. So there are lots of things in here that we're going to be discussing for you Kingston resident that is available to you. You might not know. There is another example. NHS has something called Healthy Starts. Only 47% of the people entitled are using it. There's 53% of all of you Kingston residents not using it, and there are probably some people who don't know about it. So here now we're going to be discussing, and I would like to invite Lubina from the Migrant Advocacy Services. We're having a chat, and she was explaining everything they do. I will bring up your website as well. And Lubina, you were mentioning about the daily drop-in that you have at Guildhall, here in the Kingston Town Centre. If you don't know, Guildhall, right in the heart of Kingston, you have the marketplace, and it's just next to the marketplace, the Kingston buildings. There's a few, and it's on Guildhall 2. Just ask there if you don't know. There's a person on the gate. Always ask for support. You know where the building is, and it's a Monday to Friday.
Okay, so Guildhall 2 is the building that's at the back. You have to go over this little bridge. You'll see some nice swans and ducks under it. You go up there. If you go on a Monday or a Friday, you'll get access to a range of advisors who can there and then support you to look at whatever problem it is that you're bothered by. Throughout the rest of the week, we have the phone service that operates from 10 o'clock till 5 o'clock. We can deal with things over the phone. We can make appointments. We can signpost by phone or by email there and then. We do have some limited drop-ins during the week as well. But the contact centre is a good place to go for information. Not only are the advisors there to support you at that time, but they can also signpost you. We do prefer to signpost to people who are really specialising. For example, we've got some specialists who deal with major debt problems here in this room, and I'm sure Marcus is going to be talking with them later on.
Absolutely. Yes. And your
we would
organisation
signpost
also
to them.
They also refer to CAP as well.
Of course, yes, that's exactly what I mean. That there are some things where we'll say, that's a big problem, we know the right people to help you with, so we will make a referral to them. Our job is to give information. We're privileged in that the advisors are constantly getting trained, they're constantly getting experience, they're updated about what local services are providing, and their job is to enable people to access the right people for them. So
10 to 2,
yeah,
Monday to Friday.
Monday and Friday is the best time to go in for a drop-in. We can see people by appointment midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We also see people on Mondays and Fridays by appointment, and we have a phone service that's operating throughout the week.
So is it only by appointment?
No, you can drop in on a Monday and Friday.
Monday and Friday we can just drop in.
Just
walk in.
They will walk it. You can bring your papers with you, whatever it is, and we can help you go through and unpick the problem.
Monday and Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's it?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then if we need an appointment to go through things further, maybe you need to bring in some paperwork, you need to go to the doctor to bring in your sick notes or whatever, you can bring them and we'll set up an appointment for you. So it's quite simple.
If I get there 10 to 2?
If it's quick, they'll see you. If they're sat at their desk, they'll see you. If you have something that you know is going to, you've got a bundle of papers, they'll say, listen, we haven't got time.
Okay.
Come back on Monday or come back on Friday, or let's make an appointment to see you
And
another
if
time.
anybody out there thinking, oh, but go there and there will be waiting to see, I might not see somebody, how is it?
Usually people will sit and wait, but quite often we have, the Mondays and Fridays are quite intensively staffed. We know that there's a lot of demand on those days, and we've set that up so we usually have about 4 or 5 advisors there.
Nice.
We occupy most of the desks that have been very kindly enabled to us by Kingston Council. Those desks are there for public service, and we've been very grateful for the support they've given us to use the space.
Amazing.
I think it's important for us to have a place that's accessible, so it's entirely wheelchair accessible. From the point of view of security of our staff and advisors, you get some who are very angry, very agitated, they're in a poor mental state. We have to also think of the welfare of our workers, and the space is perfect for us because we've got good security there.
Yes.
Got Peter and other members of staff. They're on the desk, and whenever there's trouble, they sort it.
Amazing. And what about appointment? How if I make an appointment, then clearly I might have to wait less, or not. So if I make an appointment to go down on a Tuesday at 12 o'clock, does it mean that it could be quicker for me than going on a Monday and a Friday?
Yeah, I mean it's entirely up to you. I mean, if you want to drop in and make initial contact, then you have the time to go, because the toing and froing takes time.
Yeah.
And we are very conscious that some people who are in work find it difficult to get time off work. Some employers are not very accommodating. Some jobs don't allow you to sort of, if you're supposed to be manning a shop and you're not there and it will affect the business, then you can't step out. Yeah. But we will deal with a lot of things over the phone.
So we can do over the phone as well.
Oh yeah, I deal with a lot of things over the phone.
What's the number, please, for us to put it here on the
Okay, so the number is 0203 488 0638, and that's from 10 till 5.
So 0203 488 0638. I'm sure there's going to be somewhere in the screen here they're going to put the number.
It's on that screen there. It's on the website.
And it's also on the website if you go. Their website is migrantadvocacyservices.org.uk.
So it's service. For the correction.
Migrantadvocacyservice.org.uk.
Yeah.
Can they make appointments via the website as well?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. So
we haven't got that.
I'm thinking for supporting people to understand how easy it is. Everything you do to make it easier for people. Yeah. Considering that some people might not be able to get out of work, and they can phone you.
They can phone. They can email. They can come in person. They can WhatsApp. There's a couple of numbers there.
Oh wow!
You can WhatsApp us for say I need to see somebody for an appointment. Can you set me up a date? We can offer them a date, and we usually will send them an email for them to confirm.
Yes.
So we'll send a calendar invitation to their email address. They have to confirm yes or no.
So you do a lot to make it very accessible for everybody.
Yeah, the reason why we set this organisation up and the service was because we found in the middle of the last decade, when I had clients who were coming to me for problems, and I would say, okay, but you can go, actually there's nowhere to go. When there are certain problems that are, for many people, they don't really have access to impartial quality advice.
Yeah.
And where language is a problem, understanding or lack of understanding of administrative systems, the impact of not paying fines, and parking and traffic violations is a massive source of debt. I'm sure you'll know. And a lot of people, they don't understand, they don't appreciate. They say, "Oh, but I will explain. I will." There's a procedure. And for many people, their lives become an absolute misery because of this. And it all stems through not knowing how to deal with certain issues. So our project started as a pilot because we said, hold on, we do feel that there's this major gap in lack of provision, because the impartial advice service would normally be afforded by Citizens Advice, but that feels like a more formal procedure. It's sort of something that for many people wasn't that accessible. Where you could queue up in the past, you can't queue up to see them anymore. That in itself was a bit, not everyone's going to be prepared to go and wait outside an office in a long queue. So we are there to support vulnerable migrants who, through no fault of their own, or even sometimes even if it is their fault, but regardless of that, they have multiple vulnerabilities and they face multiple disadvantages. And we are really trying to bring those inequalities, sort of minimize the inequalities caused by that.
You're talking about fault, but we all make mistakes, don't we?
Of course.
We all make
all
mistakes.
Of us.
And as you explained it, there might be a cultural barrier for understanding how the system works and how you can get through them mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a migrant myself. I'm from Brazil. I live here quite a while. I really identify with what you explained. Is amazing. Thank you so much for having that service available. And I wish I knew quite a while ago, but just to say, you help people maximizing the income.
Yeah.
You help people understanding if they're eligible for benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said you can also support seeing if you can reduce the outgoings.
Yeah.
And you said any other health conditions you might signpost people.
Yeah.
What else are the topics that you help?
Sorry, what?
The topics, the things that you help people who come to your services.
So that covers quite a lot of the common areas of work. Maximising income will require us to see, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Somebody comes, they're already working, she's working, he's working, they're in a family, he suffers ill health, so can't work as much. So the outgoings become bigger than the income. Yeah. And they are beginning to get into arrears. Yeah. They can't pay the rent, they're struggling to put food on the table, and they'll come to you saying, what can we do? And you realise, you go through and you say, well, hold on, you're eligible to claim universal credit. Why aren't you claiming it? It's like, we didn't know. So how come? Okay, we're not asked that question. Let's just get on and apply.
And what's the more or less the amount of people, more or less the percentage of people that are not aware that they are eligible for support, income support?
I couldn't really say. It's not that usual that people will come now without access to any benefits, but it does come through.
But it does come through.
There are lots of nuances in the whole universal credit system, which is quite complicated. It is an improvement over the old system, which had lots of different benefits. Yeah. It comes under one umbrella, but there are still things that, say, people who have disabilities aren't claiming, or people who have been ill for a while, they're still being asked to, justify their time. When you take universal credit, you're entering a contract with the job centre that you are going to prove that you are looking for a job, and they will support you financially until you find a job. Often you can't meet the terms of that contract. Yeah. And people do panic. They do get stressed. They get harassed by their work coaches saying, why aren't you finding work? Why aren't you increasing the hours? And I see a lot of exploitation of people. A lot of people in, many jobs, low paid job, they're already vulnerable, and employers exploit them further. And it is something that is quite sad to see. Yeah. And we do try to redress that. Sometimes we advocate with their employers. So, they work half an hour, but they take half an hour to get there and back. You can't just pay somebody for a half hour in the morning, half hour in the evening, and they've travelled at least 40 minutes to get there and back. What's that? What good is that money for them? Wow. So wherever possible, we try to advocate and mediate also with landlords. We do that a lot. There's a lot of housing problems. Everybody knows. We won't bore everyone with the problems, but housing is a major issue. All aspects of housing, private rented, social housing, poor quality housing, bad landlords, rent going up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ridiculous
the
amounts.
Mortgages there.
They just seem to think they can slap hundreds onto their rent and go with impunity. What happened to renters' rights? Yeah,
we have a research that we got in Quilombo. And it shows the London average outgoings of houses in poverty and houses not in poverty. And when we were just looking the research and we're not the experts, we thought, wow, if people knew that they can get a lot of support here on food, on fuel, on here, on there. I think we heard as well an example of somebody who reduced almost by a quarter of the weekly outgoings with the support that's available to them. And that sounds exactly what you guys do, isn't it?
Yeah, so there is the income maximisation. We also have another service that runs throughout the week, and obviously a major outgoing for a family is going to be their food bill, especially if you have children or mixed generation groups. Food is an essential. You need it, for your daily life. And when you've got bills, that food bill, the amount of budget you have reduces. So we have a community fridge in Surbiton on Brighton Road. It's open every day. In Surbiton.
Brighton Road.
Yeah, anybody from anywhere.
Brighton Road by the river.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It's the road that runs to the river. And it's available from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Stock will be coming in throughout the day whilst it's open, and also in the evening.
So as well as the services you do at Guildhall 2, you have a food bank.
Yeah, it's not a food bank. They're sort of like different.
Community fridge.
It's a community fridge. Is a resource where excess produce from retailers that they no longer can sell or want to sell because of the logistics of the shopping, the supermarkets is fast moving.
Yes.
Every day they get deliveries. So what's old is going to go out. Some of it
old they're still able to use.
Of course, yes. So that has to go somewhere. It was going into the bins.
Wow.
We now take it, and it's obviously by agreement and arrangement through a brokering company. I have to say thank you to Neighbourly for putting us in touch with so many different suppliers who are very happy to donate. We have a big team of volunteers who go out. They are very kind. They don't charge a penny for their time or for the petrol that they use. The cars, which are always full of crumbs and bits of broccoli and leaves and stuff like that, they don't moan, and they, without fail, they'll deliver to the shop.
Wow.
And then we've got teams inside there who will arrange everything, and our lovely clients come. They come and they take what they want.
So let's tell the people watching us.
Yeah.
It's Monday to Friday.
You're welcome to come from fridge? Monday to Sunday. That means
Monday
7 days
Sunday.
a week. We're
Monday
open without
Sunday.
fail.
Is it? You said what are the times again?
From 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. So there's no reason why
2.
anyone should go hungry, really.
Wow.
If they can come to us. And sometimes we've got people who they're in a hotel, for example, they haven't got a kitchen, and that is grim because you can't cook. Even simple food you can't do. So we've got a microwave so we can heat up a meal.
So they can heat that as well.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
eat that.
We've kind of developed that it's kind of evolved. We were just a fridge. Now we thought, well, we've got a microwave, we've got an air fryer, we've got a big toaster, we've got a kettle. So there's quite a lot we can, there's a lot.
Yeah.
We're pretty much there, really.
So 10 to 2.
Yeah.
And again, please, where is it?
So Brighton Road the nearest bus is the K3 that stops around the corner.
The K3 bus goes there.
It's near it's near the YMCA where
down
in
close
Surbiton.
to Sainsbury's, the Sainsbury's YMCA.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about 5 minutes walk.
And under the bridge to the left, to the right.
No, so you get to the Sainsbury's at the T junction.
Yes.
You turn right, and you just carry on down. We're on the left-hand side. And
lots of shops in there, isn't it?
It's actually there's not a lot of shops there. No.
Is it? I think there was a tyre shop or something there.
Yeah, we're just a little bit further.
Just a little
down
bit
than
further.
That.
So that is the community fridge.
That's the community fridge.
Monday to Sunday, 10 to 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there'll be lots of goodies around before and after Christmas.
And what?
So please
what
come
do
on
people
down.
need to be able to get the food?
You need a carrier bag.
So we don't need to ring you, ask you.
No.
So if we get there and say we need it, we get it.
That's it. Absolutely. So you will see with your own eyes what there is. When there's plenty, take plenty. Because if we don't clear the shelves, we're going to throw it away.
So there is also food waste.
So
people can support with food waste.
This project started about minimising food waste and also supporting people who would benefit from that. So it's kind of got two purposes. So we're reducing food waste, which we think is an absolute crime. It's shocking and it shouldn't happen. I come from Yemen and half my people are starving. So it's something that I cannot, emphasize how sensitive we are to that issue. So we minimize food waste and we increase the amount of food, good quality food, mind you. It's not rubbish. It's really good stuff from Waitrose, M&S, Gales. We've got 4 collections coming out of Gales during the week, Gales Bakery. So top stuff, and if that helps people to reduce their outgoings, we can help them by reducing the amount of money they spend on food, enabling them to pay for their bills.
And this is what we were saying in our video, to show people how much support out there that can reduce their outgoings.
Yes,
so
it's important to use it.
This is a very good hook I want to use to say, in the screen here, there will be a QR code where if you're watching it and you're not in need of their support, but you really want to help, there's plenty of ways for you to help. One, you can make a donation. That donation will go to our local giving page, and the money raised will be shared with the organizations that are here in the podcast with us. 2, it might be your hours that you want to donate, or your qualifications, your skills. There will be a website for you to click here as well, that you can find out more how to support, how you can support, who you can support. Because I heard that there is an issue as well where more people are needing to access food, but less donations are coming through. So if people can donate, either financial donations, any other donations, it's something that I think you said you get it directly from
Yeah, so our model is slightly different from the Trussell Trust and the food banks.
Yeah.
The food banks receive goods that have a longer life, and that enables them to prepare packs for families, which have a longer shelf life. Ours is based on food waste. That's the principle.
Amazing.
But what it's enabled us to do is to support families to make their money go further, whilst not compromising on quality of food. In fact, there's a common comment about food that comes from the food banks, which is it's not fresh, it's tinned, it's it's dry, and that is good. It's good to have in your storeroom, but sometimes you just want a fresh salad, or you want some fruit, you want some of those dips, you want some coleslaws and things, and that's what we get. The downside of it can be that a lot of it comes with a use by. Now, use by, legally, we are not allowed to pass on to clients. We have to safeguard them. The use by is supposed to be there for the, perceived safety of the clients. However, a lot of it is also given away that's best before. And that's where I say the logistics of the supermarkets is they have to get rid of the stuff because the next morning they got a massive lorry full coming in, and that's going to be fresher and it's going to be more saleable.
Amazing. And now, on going back to the other service you do at Guildhall too, because there's the community fridge and there's the advice.
Yeah.
So I'm a migrant, but I'm not really sure. Cost of living crisis. I might be struggling here or there, but I'm not really sure I'm entitled to support. Should I still come down on the dropping and talk to you guys?
We're happy to talk to people if they want some advice, some kind of tips. We don't expect to have big cases, I think that's where we strike a chord with migrants who often will come and they'll spend longer trying to explain their language because they have poor language skills. We do have bilingual advisors there. And they can just come, and if they want some signposting, that's absolutely fine.
In different languages you have?
We have got some, yes. We've got some leaflets in different languages. We cover, our advisors speak Arabic. They speak Urdu. We've got Italian and French and Spanish.
Wow.
As well.
Okay.
Sorry about that. The other thing that we find is we've got a very small amount of this. We do have outreach work. So we work in a community centre. We run a cooking class, which is really popular. And we work in partnership with Achieving for Children, who running a parent carer champion network. It's a bit of a mouthful, but basically it's a network of parents who are trained to be volunteers to support other parents who may be struggling for one reason or other.
Wow.
And we recruit people who come to our lunch club. It's open to everyone. It's free of charge. It's this past 2 terms it's been piggybacked with a course. So healthy eating courses, eating for less, the food that we get from the fridge, we bring and cook. We add ingredients as well. And it's a lovely little project. It's really good. And often through that, people will find out about what we're doing at the council. If they've got a problem, we'll make them appointments. And we'll take them there or they go there. Everyone knows where the council is. Yeah.
Is everything you said in your website as well?
It should be, absolutely. Your the website has most of it in there.
Okay, so I can see here community projects. It shows Out to Lunch, Mina Women's Group, Ready Steady Let's Cook, Hong Kong Welcome Cafe, Surbiton Community Fridge, Yemeni Asylum Seekers. So in Ukrainian support and any news and updates. So Migrant Advocacy Service.org.uk, you can find out more of the great work that Lubina is doing with her team, and you can get support on seeing if you can maximize your income, reduce your outgoings. You can get see if you're eligible for any benefits. There is the community fridge, there's the cooking classes, as you said. There's a lot that you can get support in Kingston as well via Lubina and her team. And I'm gonna use this as a hook for talking to Phil and Gail about Christians Against Poverty, which Lubina also refers.
Great organisation, great job they do.
And I was actually surprised of the amount of support that you give. And I need to share that I've been in that place with people knocking the door before, and I know how tough, how heavy it is. And so you support people in debt.
Yes.
It has to be personal family debt. We don't do debts for businesses.
Okay, so no business, no self-employed, right?
Yeah. It has to be a regular income,
Okay.
which makes self-employed very difficult.
Okay.
But yes, if you've been there, you will completely understand, Marcus.
Yes.
I think we ought to say that roughly a third of people who ring our national helpline
Mm-hmm.
have either contemplated or attempted suicide.
My God.
Because debt.
A third.
A third, yeah. And debt destroys people and it destroys families. And we see too much of it, don't we? You have to, we ought to say up here, you have to ring the national helpline. You don't come straight to us. We're one of 300 Christians Against Poverty, CAP for short, debt centres around the country. So we cover Kingston and Wimbledon. But everybody has to go to that national service. There is a website that you can go onto and there's a phone number that you can ring.
So that's the website?
That's the website.
capuk.org.
capuk.org.
So via the website, people can get the support. Where do they go? First time I'm coming here, do I go get help?
Yes, go to Get Help Near You.
Okay.
And that will then, it says what sort of help do you want.
Okay. Whoops. So there's quite a bit. So you got debt help, money coaching, life skills, job clubs.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if you're in debt and you need help, CAP Debt Help is the first place to go.
Yes.
It will then take you there, and then you put in where you are. You put your postcode in.
Yeah.
That will then take you
Let's quickly
and tell you if there is one in your area.
Great news. Debt help is available in your area.
Exactly.
And there is a free number to call.
That is a free number. Yeah. It is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Monday to Friday.
So Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, office hours.
Yes, but you can send an email.
As well.
But it's easier to ring because then what will happen is somebody will talk to you, find out your problem to see whether CAP is the right place for you.
Okay.
You will then be given an appointment, probably with Gail, who will then visit the client and see, or the client can come to us.
So there's two ways. Either you can go and visit the client or the client. It's CAP is Christians Against Poverty.
Yes.
I'm not Christian. Can I get help?
Oh, yes. It's called Christians Against Poverty because it's run by Christians, but it is for everybody. Absolutely.
So
everybody.
I don't like God. I don't think He exists. Can I get help?
Well, He likes you, so we'll still see you.
I'm Buddhist. Can I get help?
Yes.
Everybody can get help.
Everybody.
Everybody
it's
can
totally
get help.
free and it is open to everyone, providing we are the right organisation to help you.
And okay, so you're saying that do they need to have a job? Do they need to have a regular income?
Well, not a job. They can be on like universal credit and get help. So just a regular income.
So regular income doesn't need to be a job. It can be a benefit or any other way that they get a regular income.
Yeah.
Then they can call you and you can support them to get out of debt.
Yes.
And you were telling me so many things that you do to get them out. That even negotiating, even telling the clients can tell anybody knocking on the door that now they have to talk to you directly.
Yeah. So basically, when we go and see them, we find out all their financial information, and we have a head office in Bradford, and they provide all the debt advice. So once a client comes on board with CAP and says they want to commit to having their help, then if they've accepted CAP's help and CAP have come up with a plan for them, then once they've agreed, then CAP will contact someone's creditors. So it won't be really before they're actually getting
absolutely.
the help. So
but it can get to that level. You can get to that level of help or support from yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes some of our clients been facing eviction, and although we can't provide any legal support, we have been to court just as a sort of a hand to hold type of things, like support, just to have someone with them. And the head office will provide a letter to the court, just to say that that they are helping.
That they're doing something about it.
Yes, exactly.
They're doing something. That's really important as well for the whole situation.
I think the weight is taken off your shoulders as the person in debt. Somebody else is now dealing with it for you and with you. And if you're in debt and you're on your own, everywhere you look, there's a solid wall.
Mm-hmm.
Part of what we're trying to do is knock those walls down and walk with you to get you out of debt.
I hope I have found that a long time ago, because it's exactly what you're saying and I'm remembering. And I was by myself, and it was very difficult. And understanding that there are people out there that can, at that very difficult time, demonstrating that there's help here. And is it right to say, I think, Kevin, you mentioned that part of why we're doing it, there's with cost of living crisis, and please, by all means, if anybody wants to jump in, there's a lot of people that were not in debt before, that because of mortgages and rent are now in debt. And is that right?
Yes, it's quite obvious that certain prices have increased, but income hasn't. It hasn't been matched. You've seen some benefit increase, but they are a minority. They're not as matching what the increase in inflation and what supermarkets are passing on. So there is a question about how do I meet what I used to be able to meet and now I'm no longer able to.
Yeah.
So I do not know the solution because it's very difficult.
Yeah.
That's why we have organisations available in the borough that can do this.
A lot of.
Yes. It's also if you have issues with your rent and you are linked to the council, I sometimes find the first thing is, how do I avoid the council and not talk to them about it?
Yeah.
No, call CAP. They will help you when you have your conversations with the council to know, well, what do you do next and how you do that.
Wow, so it is, of course, everywhere there will be sometimes a little bit of rejection. So you're saying that the people who think I don't want to deal with the council and I'm linked, they can go to CAP.
Yes, but it still means they have to engage with the council.
Absolutely.
It just means they have someone who's discussing with them what's the best things to say.
They can support how to discuss and where they are and feel that they have somebody helping them on their side as well.
Yeah, what do you say? I have debt. They are chasing debt. That debt is increasing. What do I do? And that's the main things and issues that come across. Right, there's ways where it can be discussed rather than it raising to such an issue that legal action is taken. They have to start discussion. Find someone to help. CAP is one that can be able to help you to look about, right, we are going to present this to the council and we can discuss a way of paying back what's owed rather than missing out on what's owed.
Is this right to say that there are people and families, they were not in debt before, but then they find themselves in debt and they may think, well, we will turn it around. We know we have family, we have friends, we have qualifications, we can turn it around. But then it gets worse and worse and worse. And when they actually come for help, it's in a situation that if they came earlier.
Yes, when we first started, I came to a conclusion, which I hope was the right one, that a lot of people when they're in debt, it's almost as though they put their hands over their eyes and think, I'll take them away in a few minutes and the problem will have gone. And it's not going to go unless you do something about it. It really isn't. And funny enough, you said about qualifications. When we first went to find out about how debt centres operate, a lady who had been through the process said that she and her husband both lost their jobs within 6 months of each other.
Wow.
They had savings, they were qualified, they thought they'd easily find jobs. Neither of them got jobs.
Wow.
And gradually they got into debt. They didn't know what to do about it and they didn't do anything about it because they felt shame at being in debt. I would say, shout if I'm wrong please Gail, the vast majority of our clients are in debt through absolutely no fault of their own.
Yeah, it's just like for some people the carpet has been just pulled from beneath their feet and like sudden illness and a loss of income and being a single parent, with a child and just suddenly your whole world has turned upside down and then the bills are mounting up and just the problems seem insurmountable. So the natural inclination is just to hide. You haven't got a solution. What do you do? So it happens so often that people just just bury their heads in the sand, and it's just so difficult.
And even more now with the cost of living.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
About 5 years, you mentioned the research you've done in getting ready for this. About 5 or 6 years ago, we did some research with Kingston University into poverty in Kingston. And I remember at one meeting, one of the staff there said, actually, we're all only one step away from this, aren't we?
Wow.
You don't have to lose your job. You don't have to fall ill, as Gail said. And suddenly, your whole situation has changed.
Yeah.
And get help early, because as you said, it will get worse if you don't do something about it.
The research we got, there's also a date on it saying there are 12,000 people in debt in Kingston. So if you're watching, we have decided to do an emergency podcast here to try and show, especially now in Christmas, so much, not just getting everybody together warm, which costs a lot now, the food on the table, the gifts we want to get. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of help out there. And please look for help earlier. Look, you're not sure if you are, or if you are a step away, look for help. Get some advice, because it can be done, and it can be done better and easier if it's earlier, at early stage.
And do ring the number, because even if we are not the right people for you, CAP can signpost you to an organisation that might be right for you.
So 0800 328 0006, is that right?
Yep.
The number will be on the screen. The guys doing the editing will do the magic. The number will appear here. 0800 328 0006. CAP, Christians Against Poverty. No, we don't need to be Christian. You don't need to be religious. It's Christians helping anybody. So ring them up and say, I'm not sure. I heard the podcast. I might be. Can you help? And
sorry, Marcus, I keep interrupting. It says before you call, so if you go on the website, just check that on whether you're eligible.
So we can check.
Yeah, you can check before you ring.
Okay. So go to the website capuk.org. Then there's lots of information there. But by all means, if you people not really ring the number, get some help. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And there's a lot. There is a lot they will do. They will talk. They will discuss. You initially go on the phone, but then you can have a face-to-face meeting if you're eligible.
Yes.
And if you're in Kingston, they will refer you to yourselves, and then you can have a face-to-face. You can go to them, or they can come to you, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And the other thing we ought to say too is we do also run something called it used to be called the money course, but it teaches people how to save money, how to budget. You could, by going on the CAP UK website, and when you're going to get help near you again, and it says money coaching. If you look at that, any courses that are on in the area will appear on there. So again, you type in find money coaches money coaching near you.
So let's go here.
And there may not be any on at the moment.
But they can be.
They will appear, tell you where it is, when it is. And again, there's one you see.
There you go.
Worcester Park Library.
The library.
Yeah.
And in January, there's 1, 2 in January, 2 in February.
Yeah, that is one course. So you go to all four sessions.
All four sessions. Four sessions. Join the workshop. Contact Alison. There's the number here.
Yeah.
And there are more.
Yes.
In other places, so there are workshops as well. It's amazing. Yeah. I've done it for what I've gone through, and it's amazing. You don't realize how much help they are there teaching us how to manage the money, how to manage the budget, and how much support. So, to remind, food, Christmas dinners, lunch. I heard there's gifts as well. RBKers are doing a bag warm for winter bag, which is amazing. People are knitting, and there's a gift, and then they're giving those bags out. There is advice. There are lots of advice around debt or financial struggles or anything else. Can you reduce your outgoings? Can you increase your income? Are you eligible for benefits? Again, if anybody has issues because they think I don't speak English really well, how can I come to Lubina and the Migrant Advocacy Services? I'm sure that yourselves also signpost people to organizations as well. So Kingston has a lot. Kingston Council is doing a lot.
Can I also just say, this
Absolutely.
hasn't just been put on for Christmas.
Sorry?
This isn't just been put on for Christmas
No.
as a present that people can open. These are things will extend next year.
Yes.
We're also looking at doing some expansion next year. Looking at working with Lubna. Can we take the support services into Surbiton Library?
Wow.
And the car park there, so it's available there. So we're looking into that, so it doesn't block all parking these things.
Yes.
But can people access it there?
Yes.
We're also looking at a refugee feeding
Yeah,
centre.
yeah. There's a
open day
lot
on a
of work
Friday.
that's going
So
forward.
we're looking at those kinds of things as well.
Yes.
So it's identifying most demanding need and seeing if we can meet it. The other thing, we've got some council staff that do housing and now going to place themselves in libraries so you can meet them and chat with them face to face.
So instead of just coming to the town centre, the council is
If you
trying
go
to
to the
also
town centre,
extend
yeah.
it to different areas.
Sometimes if it's you go to the town centre, all you get is access to a phone to speak to somebody.
Uh-huh.
So this is where you can actually meet someone face to face and discuss the issue and problem that you have.
Yes.
And you can take someone along with you as well if you want to share some information, which is usually, let's get to the right point.
Yes.
Admission of debt, or an admission of inability to pay. What's our next steps and how can we assist?
So there's a lot the council is doing for the residents.
There's a lot
A lot.
we want to do, but usually how can we do that with voluntary partners? Because we know working with voluntary partners is the best way to access people that need help,
Amazing.
rather than expecting people to turn up for us.
So once again, you're watching. It doesn't matter where you come from, the language you speak, where you're living. You're in Kingston, and you're thinking that you might need some help. If you're considering it, get some help. There's a lot of place for you to go. Here we have Christians Against Poverty, CAP, on 0800 328 0006 or via their website, capuk.org. You can look for advice in debt or not. If you don't know, ring up, get some advice. We have Lubna and her team from the Migrant Advocacy Services in different languages, considering all of the struggles that any migrant will have. Come and get support. Kingston Town Centre in the Guildhall 2, Monday to Friday. Monday and Friday are dropping. They can come down 10 to 2 p.m. You can go and talk and ask and see. There's lots of things. And again, both organizations will also direct you. There is food, there is fuel, energy bills. You can get support as well, can get advice, food, gifts, Christmas, after Christmas as well. Is not only for Christmas. Mental health, we're discussing here. All of that pressure, not only from any struggle we're going through, but going through dates like Christmas, end of the year, stress, anxiety, depression, and that can be the chicken and egg. One will end up being a consequence for something else. Remember, you watching and you want to give help as well. You don't need, but you want to help. There is a QR code for you to make your donation, your financial donation. You scan it, it goes to our local giving page. You can make a donation, whatever amount you want to. But if you don't want to make a financial donation, but you want to donate some hours, or you are a qualified professional that can help from everything we've been discussing, there is a website that you're going to click, probably connected Kingston as well, but others, for you to find out how.
Can I add to that? If I can make an appeal that we run a service that's become a vital lifeline for people, the Surbiton Community Fridge. The fact that the food is available, it's fresh, it's clean and it's good every day of the week means that nobody has to go hungry if they can come there. And we're always looking for volunteers, and we particularly want volunteers who can speak another language, because if I speak Spanish and I get a new client who can only speak Spanish, they would love to talk to me. And they would love to talk to you.
Which language
if you
do you
speak,
need, Lubna?
Huh?
Which other volunteers speaking what language would you need?
We have clients from all over the world.
Yes.
So anybody with a second language would be very welcome.
At the moment, you said you have people who
so
can support
we have
in
people
Arabic.
Arabic, Kurdish, Farsi,
Yes.
Spanish, Portuguese, French, Tamil, Urdu, Punjabi.
Ukrainian.
I don't know if we have any Ukrainian
So we need
volunteers.
some support.
If we have some Ukrainian volunteers, that would be
There we go.
really, really good. And the other area where volunteers would be Their work would be, if they want to make a commitment to, is the advice service. We're always looking for professionals, maybe somebody who has had a legal background, a casework background, and they have another language that is extremely valuable. We would be very interested to hear from you if you want to learn how to support members of the community, maybe from your own community that you have from your own background, or others in the wider family of the migrant population. We all face similar challenges. We face the additional problems of loneliness, having none of the social and family structure that have been left behind, and you're having to start your life again completely. And that's what a migrant faces, and that's why we felt that they were deserving of the additional support, because the challenge is hard. So anyone who has got another language, and even if you don't have another language, but
wants
willing,
to come and support, wants to donate some hours, they can.
That would
How
be
do
amazing.
they get in touch? They call you? They come?
They call me. Our website has got all contact details, and we've even got a, volunteer kind of page
Amazing.
as well
So,
somewhere.
Migrant Advocacy Service.
Yeah.
.org.uk, they can get in touch,
Yeah.
and they can come to the Guildhall on between 10 and 2 Monday
Yeah.
to Friday, and then
Yeah.
say, look, I would like to help. I saw the podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
you will
Please.
see it, and then can come and support as well. Yeah.
Can I just add on the money course?
Absolutely.
You do not have to be in debt to do it.
Aha.
Some people do the money course, they're not in debt, but they want to manage their money better
Yes.
in
Sounds
order
like
to
a
avoid
good
debt in the
idea.
future. So it's not exclusively
Yeah.
for people in debt.
So the workshops, and is it free? Do they need to pay anything?
No, that's free as well.
Absolutely free.
Absolutely free.
Join the workshop Saturday. Let's see here. 4 dates: January and February.
Yeah.
You would. How long is it for? Do you know?
Probably 2 hours.
Probably 2 hours.
We don't. That's run by CAP nationally. We don't necessarily
Okay.
know Alison personally. We might
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours for each session.
Online or face to face?
Oh no, it's face to face.
Face to face.
There may be 6 or 7 people doing it.
Okay.
But you don't have to reveal any of your personal details
So you-
at all.
Okay, so you can
Yeah.
go sit down, watch, listen, take with you.
Yeah, you get a
Bye.
booklet to help you work things
Wow.
out, and you also get access to an online facility
Yeah.
where you can work out your budget online.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Any other messages? Kingston Council, CAP, Migrant Advocacy Service, that you would like, any final messages you would like to bring?
Yeah, just that people, they're not on their own. There is plenty of help out there,
Yeah.
really. And
Yeah.
and I think, especially like during the pandemic, I think in Kingston it was just really demonstrated how people pull together, and there were so many people volunteering, just like delivering food parcels and things.
Yes.
So there's lots of help. So
Amazing.
I would just add, don't be afraid to ask. And if you don't get the answer that you want first time, carry on. Ask somebody else, and then ask somebody else after that until you get what you want, because you can be guaranteed that there is somebody out there who will be able to support you in dealing with your problems. The worst thing you can do is duck your head, not open your letters, pretend it's going to go away. It's not. No, it's not going to go away. Any debt is going to get bigger. Any financial problems you have, you're not going to get a job straight away, so don't bank on it. So I would say just keep looking for the answers.
This is not a lonely position. People
No.
don't need to be
There are
alone
so
by
many
themselves
people
trying to
facing
fix
this.
it. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot,
Absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah.
And thanks to Kingston Council investing and supporting so much. Once again, thank you very much, because we're doing it as the council enabled us to do it, and hopefully we can get to people and show them everything's available. We are going to have another one on that subject in January, but this is one as well to show, on top of that situation, what's out there now for Christmas as well, that people can get help.
yeah.
Most definitely.
Thank you very much, everybody. Gail, Phil, Kevin, Lubina, thank you so much for coming down. Yeah.
Thank you for asking us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you
Lovely
very much.
biscuits as well.
Yes, King Evan. And thank you for watch, and we will be in touch. Thank you very much. Thank you for the crew, for everybody from Quilombo UK here as well for the whole day, for the brainstorming. Thank you so much. Thank you.